Okay, we are live.
Namaskara. Good
Namaskar.
evening to one and all. BSKBA Association, popularly known as Gokul, is a Mumbai-based 96-year-old charitable trust. We have a community center at Sion and a home for senior citizens at Nerul, Navi Mumbai. With a member base of 5,000, the association has been actively conducting religious, cultural, and social events at both these locations for members to meet and greet each other. We launched a new initiative, Sambhashana, an interview series in June 2021. The idea behind this is to talk to achievers within our community and outside. The aim of these series is to understand their journey and inspire us, the youth of BSKB, to achieve more and grow in whichever field we choose to. Life is always a series of ups and downs. How do we tackle difficulties and turn them into opportunities for success is what we need to learn from these stalwarts. In the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, you should never engage in action for the sake of reward. But how often do we actually come across people who selflessly dedicate their lives to the society with no expectations in return? Today, for the eighth episode of Sambhashana, we have one such person who, through her humility, inspired me personally right in the beginning. We are extremely honored to have with us Srimati Aruna Acharya.
Good evening to all. Namaskarams to all of you.
So, to interview her, we have our very active and talented youth wing member, Hamsa Bharadwaj. Hamsa is currently pursuing her bachelor's in mass media from Ruya College. She is learning Bharatanatyam from her mother and guru, Srimati Vidushi Sahana Bharadwaj. Hamsa cleared her Bharatanatyam junior and senior exams with distinction and has given over 100 performances. She has been part of a Western dance crew where she participated in college festivals all over India. A trained classical singer, Hamsa is also a self-taught guitar player. Apart from dance and music, she is also a Badagu and Tenkutittu Yakshagana artist. She recollects her most memorable performance to be that with her grandmother, who was a pioneer in the field of Yakshagana. A multifaceted interviewer is also a sportswoman. She has participated in several hockey and inline skating competitions. With Hamsa's confident and beautiful smile, we are glad to have her host today's episode. Welcome Aruna Aunty and Hamsa to Sambhashana. Over to you, Hamsa.
Thank you, Priyanjali.
Thank you, Priya.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. Certainly, today is a really special day. You may ask why it's so special. That is because, first of all, it's Teachers' Day. Happy Teachers' Day to all the wonderful teachers who are watching this show. And second, we have a very special guest with us here with us today that not only imparted her knowledge to the students who need it in the rural areas, but also you'll be learning a lot from her today. Personally, I'm really excited to be here today because there is so much that I want to learn and know about the topic that we're going to discuss today. It's natural that I started by surfing the internet and I wanted to know about the topic that we're going to be learning today. But what better way to learn and get an insight about the subject if not from the professional herself? I hope you all feel the same way as me because I assure you that it is going to be really interesting. Today we have Srimati Aruna Acharya. Namaskara, Srimati Aruna Acharya.
Namaskara. Ellarigu namaskara. Good evening to all viewers.
Yeah. So I'll be introducing her now. So, who is a philanthropist and she has made a name for herself as the helping hand to society. She has set 18 schools in Odisha and 3 in Tripura. That is not it. She has also had temples constructed and has reopened healthcare centers too. From distributing snacks to policemen during the first wave of COVID, Srimati Aruna Acharya even provided free dinner or provides free dinner every year to cancer patients on her father-in-law's death anniversary. These are just a few instances of all the amazing things that she has done, and surely we'll get to know her more during this interview. I hope everyone watching this gets inspired as I am inspired, as I am inspired. So Aruna ma'am, let me start with asking the first question. And I'm sure everyone's curious about this question. it being none other than, what is your definition of social work? Being in the field, I'm sure that the theoretical definition is completely different than than the someone who has experience, right? So I want to know, what is social work in your words?
Yeah, Hamsa, let me tell you, your viewers may misunderstand you to, I must rather misunderstand me to be a professional social worker. Since you mentioned the field, let me tell you, I am not a professional social worker, but your question is right. Like, what was my definition? Like, how would I like to define it?
Yeah.
See, social work shouldn't be a profession, according to me, actually. But the need of the hour, the institutions may need social workers for counseling. So that particular category was the need of the hour. It was a requirement for the part of a society which was downtrodden,
Yeah, correct.
which was not included in the normal society. So
Yeah,
just to give them an upliftment and to take care of them in the shelters. So this came as a profession. Social work came as a subject there. So you have masters in social studies now, all these things, social work. Actually, social work is related to this, the work you do to the society at large,
yeah,
right? So
true.
isn't it our duty to
Yeah,
help one another, help the needy, help someone in distress, whether it is physical, monetary, or mental? Sometimes people have everything, but they want someone to just to listen to you. They want to pour their heart out.
hmm,
So you go and listen, you comfort them. That is all how we can help one another. So this work which we do to help another human being as one human being,
yeah,
and able helping a disabled, you know, able helping a someone in distress, someone in depression, all this is social work. So there is no particular definition for social work. A helping hand. When you reach out a helping hand to people,
correct.
you have to be social in the sense what you meet people, you interact with them, you know their difficulties, you exchange,
Yeah,
you make them a part of your life.
yeah,
You
correct.
exchange your joy, you help them in their sorrows. This is being social. This is helping out to the society. And I feel each person is a social worker within himself. And
It is the, yeah,
every good deed you do is a social work. Now that it has
correct.
become a profession and there is a graduation, post graduation, doctorate in social work,
Yeah.
that is a different chapter.
Yeah, I'll be asking about that in detail, but yeah, you're right. The meaning of social work has completely lost, like it has been
Yeah.
completely lost in the passage of time. So the next question that I would like to ask regarding this was like was is that who inspired you to start this? Like obviously you, as you said, that you don't see yourself as the professional, but you've done so much things that you are a professional in our eyes. So you know so much. So knowing so much itself makes you a professional. So that's why I wanted to ask, how did you start doing social work? Who inspired you to do social work?
Actually, if you say who was the persons who inspired you, they were my parents. As I told you in the beginning, parents are the best teachers and the first teachers. So happy Teachers' Day to my parents who are no more in this world. What as a child, like I used to see how my father was a GM. He's no more now, but he was a GM in a foreign company which was at Kalyan, and which had about 21 acres of land, and we had our house there. We had workers quarters and all this. So my daddy never ever thought that he is a GM. He thought he's only a good human being, that's it. So in any cases, and we used to see our daddy, and problems is because it was a forest like, there used to be a lot of snakes. So our workers used to have snake bites when they used to walk in the grass and all. And then another thing is, they used to lift all those drums which used to be rusted. So they used to get deep cuts in their legs and hands. And then sometimes it used to be the second duty, third duty. Like third shift used to be from 11 to 7 in the morning, and second shift would be from 4 to 12 at night. So at that time of the night or early wee hours, we would never find doctors. So they used to come running to our house. Sab kuch to kata.
Hmm.
Then see, I've got a big deep cut. So my daddy used to do the dressing himself. So all the time he used to call us for help. Get the first aid box, hold the bandage, hold the Dettol bottle, put it in water, clean his wound. So, this is how it went on and on and on.
Yeah.
And even if there was an emergency in the workers' quarters or in the staff quarters, if they had to be rushed to the hospital,
Correct.
I remember an instance where he never allowed the driver of a lorry to drive the car because his daughter was suffering from severe appendicitis. And she was in a serious condition. He told him, "You're not in a position to drive. You sit, take care of your daughter. I'm going to drive you."
Oh,
So
wow.
these are the things we observed. And we also never felt my daddy was a GM. We all knew that we were good human beings.
It's the
It
little
would go
things.
to the extent, I'll tell you another instance. There was a lady, who was a dacoit there.
Okay.
She had a big spear where she would go and break open the wagon train, goods train, which used to pass behind our factory.
Correct.
So, and the police were after her, and whenever the police used to go to catch her, she used to chop off their either their toes or their fingers or hand and all.
Oh,
So the one of the commissioners told my daddy the bitch used to trespass our company. So he said, just give me a call when she trespasses. We want to encounter her.
correct.
So my daddy intervened. He said, no, you cannot kill her. But we'll find out what is the reason. Give me 15 days time. He
Correct.
called her, counseled her, and then he asked her the reason. Why are you doing this? So when she said there is shortage of food in her area,
Correct.
so he brought both of them together, the police commissioner and this lady, and together they sorted out the full problem. And then he made the Tashildar send ration to that area and he rehabilitated that lady.
Oh,
So
that's
then you asked me the definition of social work. Does my daddy fit into that? You tell me. But he did a social work, no?
yeah.
So
It's
to see a
completely.
daddy doing that. And even during the third shift, the workers, some of them used to sit in front of the big furnaces.
Yeah.
And at about 3:30, they just used to doze off. My daddy used to go on the rounds and he used to wake my mother, make tea for them. My mother, without saying a single word, she would make tea every day for them. So
Wow.
these are the things, this was all embedded in us.
Correct.
Like we didn't see him doing it. We were involved. He used to involve us in that. Sometimes he at 6 o'clock he used to wake us, say, go give tea there and come. So we as little children would carry tea like chaiwalas, and go give them tea and come.
Really.
So
Nowadays,
this,
yeah. Yeah.
then not only that, after school hours, our pickup van used to come from the factory about 1 hour late. So we
Okay.
used to play. So he told us, don't play. There are very weak children in your class. Collect all of them and teach them. So those children who used to fail, I used to collect them, and then teach them on the blackboard. And then I used to see that they used to pass. And when they used to pass, I used to feel very happy.
Yeah. That's
This
natural.
was,
And
yeah. And so this is how he taught us, like he was a source of inspiration, but he actually pulled us into it. And that is how it grew. He sowed the seeds of this, good work. And it grew within us, it grew with us.
every parent should do that actually. He's a really great inspiration to me too right now, because it's something normally nowadays, if you see, it's really less. You can't see that kind of quality in everyone.
Hmm.
So I'm really, it's it's new to me, at least in this generation. It's new to me that it should be instilled. It's all about perspective and all the little things that really matter, don't you think? So this brings
We used to have a lot of, farmers staying behind our house. So in
okay.
the crisis, they used to come and tell my daddy, I want to sell this piece of land or mortgage it. So he used to sell, are you, do you want to sell your mother? Your this land, she's your mother, she's giving you food to eat. How can you mortgage her? How can you sell her? So he used to give them a loan from the company or sometimes loan from his pocket. And he saved them from selling their agricultural land.
Okay.
See, all this doesn't it fall into social work?
It
It
does,
does.
it does. It does fall into
Without any expectation.
that.
And all that he would say is, I sleep only for 5 hours, but I get deep sleep when I have a good day.
Satisfaction,
Yeah,
right?
satisfaction,
Right.
right.
That
Food for
brings,
the soul, he would call it.
yeah, it is like, you are right. It's all about perspective. Who thinks it's social work? It is social work. Who
Yeah.
thinks it's a chore that you have to do every day?
Hmm.
They'll think that it's all about perspective.
Yeah, true.
That brings me to my next question.
Yeah.
What kind of mindset should a person have in order to work as a social worker? So not everyone is fit, not a social worker. Now that you said that social work has been, like, it's a work line now,
Hmm.
obviously still I'll use that social worker word as to define someone who likes to
Hmm.
help others, at least for this context of the interview. So what kind of mindset should a person have in order to work as a social worker?
Okay, more than a mindset, as my husband, we were just talking, he said you should have a heart set. You should
Oh,
have a warm heart. You should have an EQ with an IQ. The
yeah,
emotional quotient should be there in you. If there is no emotion, you cannot understand anybody's distress, and you
yeah,
cannot understand a human being. And then there is no point in you just being a social worker. So the most important factor is EQ. And then it should be IQ also, because you should be wise enough to analyze.
yeah,
Like
correct.
you feel somebody is asking you every day for food. So
Hmm.
you have to, you feel for him. Oh, this fellow is hungry, I'll give him food. 12 o'clock he comes crying, you give him food. But then you should use your IQ also. Why does he ask for food every day? Is he hale and hearty? Why can't he work? So instead of giving him a fish every day, why can't I teach him fishing? This is where the IQ comes. So EQ and IQ, if you have together, and if you really have the passion to help others, this is a good platform. Social work or a social worker's degree is a good platform.
Correct. That's true. Because normally it's really although you might not think, like from a third person's perspective, if I see you working and all, I might think
Mm.
it is stressful because there are so many people who need your help. How are you going to get all of them help in one time? So it's stressful, right? That is why people need that mentality to even help those people in need and people in dire situations. That is why I asked you about that question.
Now, if
So
you think it on a large scale and say that whole of India, there are about 80% poor people, how will I do? So then you say it's not my cup of tea. Wherever you are, whenever you can, whichever way you can, if you help the people around you, if
hmm,
each Indian citizen does that, then the full of India is covered, right? Your country is covered.
correct, correct.
So all
That
that you have to do is just say that, let me do what best I can.
yes, best to my abilities,
Yeah.
correctly. So the next question would be: usually people think that social work is only limited to donating money. So to charitable funds. Do you think it's a misconception? If so, then how? Like, is it true that social work is just donating money? Because people donate money to charity and call it a day. So what do you think about it? That
See, it also matters, like what you want to think about it. You want to tell yourself कि चलो मैंने यहाँ पे I've seen many people who say ये
hmm,
बहुत डोनेशन करते हैं, इधर देता है उधर देता है उधर देता है. So I asked them किधर तक पहुंचा वो बोलो.
correct.
Are you happy saying that today, yes, I distributed 25 rupees to each person, or in a month I achieved my target of donating 25,000? Or are you happy seeing that your money of 5 rupees has reached the deserving person?
Correct.
So it is not only about finance, helping. Yes, there are many people who need finance, like somebody in need of medical help. He
Hmm,
needs finance.
correct.
Somebody's house is totally broken. He needs finance. So wherever the financial help is required, it is a must.
Correct.
Somebody's house is broken. You can't say, I'll give you food for 5 days. He needs that house to be rebuilt.
Correct.
But every time giving finance is not social work. Donating money is not social work. As I told you, showing empathy towards people, helping them in other ways, trying to find a job for someone, even trying to find a good alliance for, daughter, somebody's daughter. Isn't this the social work? Helping a child to get admission in a school where you don't need money.
Correct.
You do what you're capable of doing. Suppose you have a position where you can connect people.
Hmm,
I can find somebody a job. I can get this child an admission. I can do all these things, small, small things. I don't need to shell out money at all.
right. Correct. That's true.
So it's not only about donating money. You
Yes.
can donate your talent,
Ah, correct.
donate your wisdom. Somebody is doing wrong. Tell him you're doing wrong and this is the correct way. Isn't that social work?
That is the correct way to think about it. You can even like discover talent. Like there are so many people. Yeah. So in this will to give more insight to the people right now about what you work, I would request Priyanjali to play a short video that will highlight some of the great things that you've done and you have achieved, so that people know completely that yes, I will get inspired by this interview today. So I'll
Absolutely correct. They're not the great things what I've done. I've just done my duty as a human being.
That is true, but the thing is, not many people do that nowadays, and that is why I feel like it's so great. It should be great, but yeah, yes, you're right that it should be normalized. That
Yeah.
all of them should do that. But right now, just for the sake of showing the things that they can also achieve if they had the mentality to. That is why I asked Priyanjali to pay.
Okay, go ahead.
Huh. Priyanjali.
Yeah, thank
That was a wonderful video. Inspired me, at least. It does it like it really opens your eyes to the things that you can do, a person can actually achieve if they had the mindset and if they have the heart to do it. So I want that video brings me to the question. Now that we saw this video, could you elaborate on all the things that the video showed and the help that you've provided all over India so that we can understand that social work is not just limited to donating money, as you
Yeah.
previously mentioned. So it would be nice if you could just tell us the experiences and tell us what all you've done about this.
Oh, okay. So I'll start my life's journey again, once again. That takes me on the flashback. Like a small things which we had been doing during our school days. This somehow got settled inside my heart. Like as after college, I got married, and then it was a totally different new life for me. But here again, I met my second guru, my father-in-law, Dr. Aruna Acharya. I think all the Gokul people know him very well. He was twice president of Gokul. So I learned a lot from him, in fact. So my father, though he held a very good position, he didn't have the financial resources to help everyone. But here God gave me another father in the form of father-in-law.
Okay.
So I always used to see when people used to come, for donation. If it was for education, medical, he would open his heart and give a big check. But when people used to come for temples, he would just give them a small amount.
Okay.
So I didn't have the guts to ask him, like, why are you doing it? But I was just observing every time. So one day he called me and he told me, if you save people, temples are automatically saved. If you try only saving the temples, people cannot be saved. And he used to donate and he used to tell the temple authorities, once your temple is resurrected, help all the people around. See that everyone around the temple are happy. The service has to begin from the temple.
Okay.
And then he also taught me, he's saying you want to do Saraswati Puja, educate the poor children, make them stand on one leg. Saraswati Puja is done. Then he used to say, feed the poor, feed the hungry. Even a hungry man who comes to your house, even if he's a, rich man, but when he is hungry, feed him. Feed the poor and feed the needy. That is your, puja for Annapurneshwari.
Correct.
And medical assistants he used to call Dhanvantari Puja.
Okay.
So he used to say, you don't have to go separately to the temples to do this particular, to worship Dhanvantari, to worship Saraswati, through your charity, through your good work. Saraswati is already, worshipped. So this is what he used to tell me. So that's a real source of inspiration from him. And not only that, he always felt, that after him also, Acharya family should not stop the charity work. So he formed a trust in his father's name, memory of his father, BKR Acharya Trust. And he told me, through this trust, the good work should continue. So this is the source of inspiration like I got from him also.
Yeah, correct.
So then, I have a very curious nature. Once I was just passing by, I saw some round buildings near Mankur. So I went inside, they said it's an orphanage.
Okay.
So I went inside and then I saw a totally dilapidated building in, which all the, some of the girls used to, about 85 girls used to reside. I was wondering, in a building where only bricks are seen, how can girls stay there?
Correct.
I went and saw it was in a terrible condition. And this is the Children Aid Society I'm talking about. Bal Kalyan Nagari is the institution where I went. It's one of the 9 institutions of Children Aid Society in Mumbai.
Okay.
So 7 of them are stationed in Mankut. One is at Matunga Road, David Sassoon, and one is at the Nal Bazaar side. There's a remote home. So there when I went, I saw this girls section and boys section. There were all girls there. So there was a contractor there. So he said, "Ki main kaam kar raha hu, but my work is stopped because of lack of funds." Then I told him, "Till now, where did you get the funds from?" So he said, "I myself have brought the funds, the material, and I've started the work." Then we sat talking. Then he narrated a very nice story. So I would just like to tell so that it becomes a learning experience for you all.
Correct. Yeah.
So he told me a story that he's telling why I'm putting all my money here and not giving it elsewhere. He said his uncle had told him a story about a king who was on his deathbed and he met an astrologer. He asked the astrologer whether shall I go to heaven or hell after I die. So he said, "You're definitely going to hell. Then because you've committed a lot of crimes, you have killed people, you have fought so many wars, all this." Then he said, "No, I want to go to heaven after my death, so you should give me a solution." So he said, "Do good work." So the king thought that, "Oh, so much of wealth, what will I do? I don't have children also. So I'll distribute it to all my praja, to all my people." So he called everyone and said that the king is going to give everyone enormous wealth, take it. And then when time came, Yamraj came and took him away. So he was very happy on his way. He was telling, "Where is heaven? Where is heaven? When am I going to reach?" So when he went at the door, Chitragupt was standing. Chitragupt told him, "Ki your place is in hell right now. After some time, you'll go to heaven, not now." So he said, "No, as per the astrologer, I did a lot of charity." Chitragupta said, "Yes, you did a lot of charity. I've seen that, but I will show you your life." So he showed him his past. So when the king, before he started charity, there was a goldsmith who was working hard. There was a laborer who was working hard. There were so many people in his kingdom who were really working hard. Once he started distributing the wealth, all these people stopped working. Then all the vices came in. They started drinking. They started playing cards. Then their family, disaster in the family. No food to eat. all the unwanted calamities started coming in his kingdom.
Understood.
So Chitragupta said, you're responsible for this. If you had not distributed your wealth, these people would have earned their living decently. You finished them all. So you have to go to hell. So that contractor was telling me, wherever our money goes, we have to see that it reaches the correct place, the correct person. Don't simply do charity just because you want to do it.
Correct.
That he was also sort of inspiration to me. He was also a teacher for me for that particular thing.
Oh, okay.
So then I got a lot of my friends and we did the building. And then what happened is the administrator told me there are 5 girls who are about 18-year-old and they have got a notice from the social welfare commissioner office in Pune that these girls should be discharged. So I said, where will they go? Then he said there's no place for them to go. Now what have done, they're sending them to Asha home and other homes where aftercare, from girls from 18 to 22 are taken care of. But those days there was no such institution for them.
Correct.
So then we found out that few of the girls had ended up in the red light areas. And 1 or 2 of them were found begging and they died of AIDS on the Mankut bridge itself.
Oh, no.
So that was like shocking. That disturbed me a lot. I said, no, these girls cannot be orphans. When we are there in the orphanage to work for them, don't call them orphans.
Yeah, you are the parents.
Yeah, so we are the foster parents, right? So then he said, no, there is a call from the commissioner when there was a lady, Tamilian lady. So she said, just throw them out once they're 18. So I picked the phone. I said, ma'am, I have a daughter and I think you have a daughter. What will we do suddenly if we die when our daughter turns 18 and somebody else from the house throws them out and nobody to save them?
Correct.
She told me, what rubbish are you talking? I said, no, ma'am, it can happen to anyone. Our children also can become orphans overnight.
Yeah,
So don't be overconfident. Then she said, what are you going to do? I said, give me 6 months. Then how will you rehabilitate them? I said, I'll get them married. She laughed at me. That her laughter still rings in my ears. And it pained my heart. She said, okay, I give you 6 months, but you have to pay for their stay. I said, okay, I'll pay for their stay. No worry. But if my intentions are good and they're noble, there is God who does everything. I don't do anything. I am just a nimitta, what you say. It is He who is doing everything. And you will not believe, she gave me 6 months and within the first 48 days, we got a proposal and one of the girls got married.
How did that happen? How did that happen?
I'm on the committee of another organization called Aftercare Hostel, which is formed by Aditya Birla Group in Chembur.
Okay.
So there, one boy who was discharged, he was working in Vikroli, Godrej company at Gwalior. So he had just come for a holiday. His superintendent asked him, see, if I did, nothing would have happened. It is God who was done. And God did everything. And I left it to God. I said, you are there. You should be doing it. On your behalf, I have promised them. But it is you who should be doing. And when his superintendent asked him, kya kar raha hai? Saying, sab kuch nahi, shaadi kiya nahi, mere ko kaun ladki dega? So he just called up our institution. So the superintendent called me up and he said, ma'am, wherever you are, come running. God has come here. So then we showed him one girl. He was happy and we got her married. And actually my husband and I only performed the Kanyadan.
Oh.
So what happened? All the local Marathi newspapers came and covered that marriage.
Oh.
So after that, by reading that, many others came. They said, we also want to take some, get some girls. Our son married. So if you have good girls, let us know. So within 13 months, we got 5 girls married.
Wow.
All the 5 Kanyadans we did it. So see, for all my good work, God gave me 5 daughters.
Wow.
Bonus.
That's really nice. All
of them are very well settled. All of them are well settled. All of them have got kids and they're all happy.
That's great. That is, you did that. You really did that.
No. God, Krishna did it. See, he's here.
But yeah, that's
so
right.
There are so many, once you get into it, opportunities come your way.
You just need to keep an open mind. Keep searching and do things.
So here, you see, you don't require money to do social work here.
Correct.
Right?
Right, correct. That was
this
the
is it. Yeah. And even when these children were in SSC, they all used to fail in English. So I taught English for 1 year. And they all passed, and that is why they could go to ITI. Because that year there was a new rule that only 10th pass children could enter ITI. Previously it was 10th appeared. See, this is also social work where you don't need money. isn't it? 1 year I gave 1 hour every day to them, and 32 children got.
That is the happiness that you get after they've achieved something.
Yeah. So this is about children aid society, like where I worked, and then I covered the other institutions. I got different donors because they really required, food material, all this and all.
Mhm.
And at this point, I would like to mention a lot of our Gokul members did help me. Our children used to go to school barefoot or with those small slippers we used to get by donation on the footpath they sell, and the slippers used to break. So
Okay.
then in the school where the other children used to come, they used to laugh at these children. And I asked the teacher, why don't you tell them to wear slippers or shoes? She's telling their children from home. Home means orphanage.
Okay.
So we have the Chembur children's home and all. So she's saying, I can't force them. So I got to, called all my donors, friends, and they said, can you contribute? And it was our Raghavendra Acharya, who we call Agarbatti Acharya, Raghu Acharya. He was the first person who gave me 15,000 rupee check.
Oh.
I will never forget that. He was the first donor there.
Oh,
So
that's
many of our Gokul people have come and helped me in all my endeavors.
really, it's a community. Like you attract
Yeah,
people
right.
like that. Okay, that brings to my next question. I mean, there's more stuff to learn about you, but let me ask you the question related to the video that we just saw
Hmm.
that time. So in the video, we saw that you have sponsored the education of the children of the BSF, that is Border Security
Yeah.
Forces, and CPRF, that is Central Reserve Police Service.
Hmm.
What was your contribution there, and what was the experience there like? How did you feel while doing that, and how did you do that?
I didn't go out of my way to search. It so happened that, I don't want to narrate that, but it's a wrong number, you can say. That phone came to me and I got talking. He
Okay.
wanted the number of some other person whom I didn't have. So he was desperate. He was saying, please, ma'am, I need to,
Correct. Need.
talk to him. And that was Lieutenant Arpan Dikshit from Reva University, Bangalore.
Okay.
So then I just, because we have a soft corner for the defense forces of our country.
Hmm.
And normally when I tour and I meet them, I interact with them. And I see the harsh conditions they undergo when standing there, leaving their families and all. So I
Correct.
just was talking to him. So
Hmm.
he was explaining to me that he is stationed in Bangalore and there are, so many children, poor children of the martyrs of CRPF and BSF Jawans. So I
Uh-huh.
told him if you can get him, I made me the list through a reliable source. So he got me the list of all the students, where they could not afford their fees, and some girls were doing nursing, some were doing engineering, some were doing college graduation, somewhere in private schools. So he sent me a list.
Hmm. Hmm.
It came from the BSF Central Department and the CRPF. So
Okay.
accordingly, I started through our trust. We started paying the fees.
Hmm.
And here even our member Daksha Murlidhar Bhatt, through her Lions Club, she has also contributed to this cause. So
Okay.
that is how I got into sponsoring the education of those children.
Okay. This
Because
must
after
have
all, their
been a
fathers have laid their lives just to save ours, right? Isn't it?
That's true. That is true. Correct. So you
Yeah.
must have felt a sense of responsibility over them when you did that, when you started providing them that.
No, I always had an urge to do something for the children of the martyrs. And this came as a God sent opportunity.
Correct. To
So I
finally do
just,
it.
when such opportunities knock my door, I just open the door.
That is what everyone should do. When they have the opportunity, you need to seize the
Yeah.
opportunity to do it.
Sometimes suddenly it comes out of the blues. Like, my next I will tell you, I went to meet our Pejawar Swamiji, Vishweshwatirtha Swamiji, who is no more now.
Okay.
So at that time, the RSS and the VHP people were there. So
Uh-huh.
Swamiji introduced me saying that she's doing a lot of good work. So they said, why don't you join us? You can get a bigger platform. That's how I joined VHP, and that is where I work for the tribal. It is their project, the tribals of Orissa and Tripura and all.
Oh, that is how you got there.
Yeah.
I was wondering where that came from, but yeah, understood. Finally, I
That
got
is
to
where I
contribute.
built schools for them. There were two hospitals, which were closed due to shortage of medicines and no funds to pay the doctors and the staff.
Hmm.
So I got that reopened.
Oh,
Through a lot of donors, I maintain transparency and I normally connect the donor and the donee.
yeah,
If it is
that.
a project, I tell the donor, this is the donor, this is the recipient. Whatever you feel like doing, you have to do it directly to them. And they also get a satisfaction of interacting with the donee, seeing everything.
Yeah, it
Even
really
18 schools which I built,
helps.
most 12 schools are built by my friends.
Wow.
6, my trust put in the money. For reopening of the hospitals also, I got a lot of medicine as donation. Some people connected me to a generic medicine producer, in manufacturer in Ahmedabad.
Correct.
So when I connected him to Odisha and
Mm-hmm.
made him talk to the doctor and all,
Mm-hmm.
so he started giving me a further discount and he didn't even charge me for the transport.
Help.
See, I feel, instead of I doing everything and I'm saying I did it, which I never do, it's God who is doing. But still, it is our duty to get people together to help those who need.
People are important.
So 10 people help 100 people.
That's exactly.
One person helps 10. See,
Correct.
100 people are covered. This is how we can do something for our country also.
Yeah.
Social work is not only satisfaction for us or for, getting
God.
a name or fame. It is some duty towards our country too.
Yeah. The values should be there in the citizens of India in general, right?
Yeah.
This is what
See,
you
all these opportunities keep coming. So somebody approached me from the cancer home, which is, Dr. Ernest Bojis, which is at Kalanagar, near Guru Nanak Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, there is some cancer patient, will you help them?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, can I go and see the institution? Because sometimes we get fooled, somebody asks and we find that it's not needy. I'll give you an example. There was a servant here. Her husband had a heart attack. So she started asking everyone for money. What she required is 1.5 lakhs and she collected 3.5 lakhs.
Oh,
So you tell me that 1.5 lakhs she gave it to the medical. What about the other donors' money, then another 2 lakhs?
correct.
She enjoyed, no? So that is why, my message to all viewers who really want to do social work is, along with your EQ, use your IQ.
That
Don't
was
give it to
like,
institutions unless you're involved in the institution. Don't give it to someone unless you know his real need. So when I went there, I found that there were, that Ernest Boji's home houses a lot of patients who are got admission in Tata Memorial, who come for surgeries, for chemo, for further treatment. So they are all housed there till their treatment is over. And there are really very many needy people because they come from very poor sections of society. I've come across two cases where there were parents with 2 daughters, aged 4 and 1, both had eye cancer. And which could be, the eyesight could have got back with the operation. So
got
I,
bad.
however much I can do, I do, and I get people also. We saved the lives of those 2 girls. So this is how, and then I realized they have a common kitchen, but they don't have, they have a common kitchen where they cook their own food. They have a canteen also. Yeah, but then if I felt, like every day they come from the hospital, they come at 7 o'clock, then they rush to the kitchen, they have to cook for themselves. They themselves are so tired, they have to look after the patient. So then I said, monthly we'll give them ration as much as I can.
Correct.
Little wheat, little rice, little sugar, and all that put together. And I got many people there also. Here again, many of our Gokul people have come and sponsored and they have donated.
Wonderful, wonderful. So in the end, yeah, it's EQ should be there, IQ should be there, and people matter in the end.
Yeah. So you should, get people also to come.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, understood.
Yeah. So this is how I get, opportunities from all over. And then another tribal area is Talashri, where you showed me the picture,
Yeah.
where we have done the sub-primary health center.
Yeah, I saw that.
This, yeah, that Kodat village in Talashri, which is on the Maharashtra-Gujarat border. This has been adopted by our honorary MP, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy.
Okay. Okay.
So then he entrusted me with the responsibility of developing that entire village.
Wow.
So some projects are still to be done through his MP funds, to the MP led funds. But then, I found a lot of poverty there. So there was nothing except the broken tiles in the sub-primary health center. And, these children, and they used to go to different religions, different, this religious institutions in search of God. So I built a temple for them. And there were girls, because there was no access to the nearby towns or something for them. So they used to just do their 8th standard and sit at home. Then I started a tailoring class.
Okay.
So here also on my WhatsApp group, I'm starting a tailoring class, those who are interested in donating machines.
Oh, that's great.
So I needed, 20 machines and I got 30 donors.
Wow.
So I requested them whether I can upgrade upgrade the machine and buy a better machine with that extra money. So everybody said yes, and I bought better quality machines. Here also, again, Gokul members have sponsored so many machines.
Wow, that's really
And then
a
they built an
community.
Anganwadi. Yeah, there's our Ramchandra Upadhyaya, and there's a late Sunanda Upadhyaya, her sister late Ratna Rao, Avinash Shastri, then again Raghu Acharya, D. Ramanand Rao. These are all the major donors for my projects. So this is how one community helps the society, you know.
Yeah, that should be instilled, definitely.
So you connect the donor to the donee, and you see the good results.
Results in the end,
Yeah.
it should reach to the person who really needs it. Anything that
Right.
you give, in the end, if that person does not have it, as you said, if the person
Yeah.
does not get it, it does not make sense in the end.
True.
Just like that. So
So these
another,
are the various fields, you know, where God has given me the opportunity to actually really do something in my lifetime.
it helped me open my eyes as well, because before, really, as I said before, there's a misconception all over India about only money as social work in the end, like that. But now I know that there are so many different pathways that I could take if I want to ever do social work. So this brings to my next question, was is that
Yeah.
in your social work, the thing that you've done all till now, there would have been instances where people would have misunderstood your intentions. So, how did you handle or deal with these situations in the end? There must be times, right? Because not everything is
Yeah.
bliss. So, I want to ask, how did you deal? How should one deal with all of this where you feel betrayed, or not betrayed in the sense, but they
Fill
misunderstand
it
you?
down, right? Yeah.
Correct, correct. So, how do you feel? What do you do?
See, I'll give a small example. In Talashri, since it was a MP adopted village,
Mm-hmm.
the sarpanch of that village understood that the rest of the work was doing by the private trust, and I'm doing it on my own. But the villagers, you know, they're so used to getting everything free. Like they would say, like, काय झालं मॅडम आल्या तर they used to think it is on behalf of the government I'm doing. So they used to say, आमच्या commission कुठे? Where is my commission?
They should
What the
know.
hell commission are you talking about? I am paying from my pocket, and this is it. And the temple, I'll tell you, that I built a temple, and they wanted me to give the contract to their own man.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he ever was a contractor. He built the temple and the flooring in such a way that the whole flooring collapsed.
Oh no.
And then I couldn't present this and say, this is my work. So I had no option but to redo it.
Yeah.
So then I got a donor for sponsor for the new tiles, you know, and I sent it from here. And, you know, just to unload the tiles from the truck, they're saying, हमको commission दो, 100 रुपया दो एक पेटी का तभी उतारेगा. And I was telling them, I'm doing it from my trust. They wouldn't believe. They misunderstood it. They're saying कि आपको commission मिलता है तो हमको क्यों नहीं देता है? आपको कहाँ से commission मिलता है? This is not government job.
Correct. That is
And
not.
then they wouldn't allow the new contractor to come and work, and they told me that you broke my temple because I removed all the tiles or the floor tiles and I was redoing it.
Oh.
So that, you know, for a moment I felt let down, like, you know, by them. I said, why did I have to go there and do something for them? But then I said, this is not, I have to teach them and I have to improve their thinking. So I told them, if you ever stop, I will straight away come put you in my car and take you to the police station. First, hampering my work. Because this is a private work, this is not a government work.
Correct.
So then next day I went there without the police, of course. They did nothing, they allowed the whole thing to be done. So though you feel bad, you know, you have to stand up.
Correct. You have to stand up like for yourself in the end. And you should be motivated enough to keep doing this even if circumstances don't allow you to.
Yeah, you know, our Avinash Shastri, our member, he donated a lot of steel things, you know, one car full he brought to give it to Talashri. I took and gave it to them. There were a lot of glasses. So one lady gets up and says, क्या खाली glass दिया, ठंडा लाने लाया मेरे लिए. How will you react? You tell me.
Really?
I said, आज glass ले लो, तुम लोग दारू पीते हैं ना रात को, वो डाल के पियो, कल ठंडा आएगा. You have to, you know, you have to lighten yourself there. Otherwise, it is impossible for you to go there and work again.
Correct. I understand. Yeah, then there must
But
be.
at the same time, you know, this is neutralized by the good experience I've had in Tripura and Odisha and all.
Correct.
Fantastic experiences. The real Indian culture lies in the tribals of Odisha and Tripura. Take it from me.
Oh, wow. really not many people know about this unless they experience it. So
Yeah.
this brings to my another question that I have.
Hmm.
Experience matters, right? That's the
Yeah.
phrase that's really important. So is something all professionals say,
Hmm.
everyone says that experience matters, then only you'll understand what you really want to do.
Hmm.
So but not many people understand what it the weight that that statement carries. Like
Hmm.
they just take it at face value and say like, okay, experience matters, but they don't do anything about it. So are there any instances that personally happened to you or your family, like
Hmm.
that showed the person that experience matters? Because I remember talking to you before this, and
Hmm.
you told me about your daughter.
Okay.
That's
Huh.
yeah. So could you please tell
Yeah,
me
I'll have to tell you. As my children grew up, I had more free time. And I told you, that I had to teach them English, without which the 32 children would have failed.
correct,
And they
correct.
couldn't get a teacher immediately. So I had only about 5 months before their SSC exam. So I started taking the classes in the morning. My
Correct,
daughter used to feel, she used to tell my husband that she just keeps breakfast for us, but she rushes there to teach those children. We are not her children.
correct,
So
correct.
this was at that time a 11-year-old girl's mindset, right? So then I said, no, I have to teach them, because without which it's just a matter of 5 months. So you have to adjust.
Yeah,
So I adjusted. And then after that, in the this thing, I said there is no point teaching. I mean, telling her, or giving advice or telling her on this. I said we have to involve her, and her experience matters. So she had done her calligraphy course the previous summer. So I told her, why don't you go and teach those children calligraphy? And you're going and doing so much. I'm not going to go there. And I said, okay. And then she used to say that mommy spends all the money there buying so many things for children and all there.
correct.
But when we ask money, she says, no, no, it is next time. So I told her, okay, I'll give you 1,000 rupees. You go and teach them for 20 days. Then she promised you'll give me 1,000. I said, yes, go. She went. The first class, she said, this is okay. Like, then I said, you want to go again? I don't mind going. Because the children all started calling her Didi, Didi, and, pampering her and showing affection on her. And she was my daughter, no?
Yeah,
So then she went for a week. Then she said, okay, can you give me 500 out of 1,000? And I said, for what? Mommy, give me, no. Okay, I gave her, because that's a commitment.
correct.
And then I didn't ask her what she did.
Uh-huh.
And then after again few days, she said, can you give me some more money? I said, okay, take. But then I found out from the orphanage what she was doing. She
Oh,
bought all drawing papers, pencils, and everything for them, sharpeners and full stationery set. And she distributed files and all, and she gave it to all the children.
wow. Really?
And this is how she got so involved, so sucked in, that she understood the meaning of helping others and doing some good work,
Correct.
which
That
now
is,
everybody will say social work. It is just a work for a underprivileged child.
yeah, the help that you can provide that you
Yeah.
already have.
This sort of experiences, where you involve children
Correct,
right from childhood, just take them along.
correct, correct. That's true. So the same thing that Tripura, the schools in Tripura and all that you opened,
Hmm.
the institutions, you told me that like they are opened in the Naxalite areas, right? So how did
Yeah.
you they are scary. Those areas are scary. So how did you
Hmm.
manage to even do work over there? And how did you did they contact you about their, is that demand based? How is that
So
education
see,
system?
these are the projects that are taken up for Vishwa Hindu Parishad. So we have a lot of karyakartas going in and around that area.
Okay,
So
okay.
these karyakartas go and find out where is the need for a school. They
Correct,
talk to the villagers. They see that how much is their demand and how much do they want,
correct, correct.
are in need of a school. Then they spot those areas. Then they
Hmm.
find out, they remove the statistics like how many children are there
Hmm.
and how many girls, boys, which age group. So we start from which age group to which age group school, how many classes do we start. They do all the primary homework. Once that is done, then I used to go on around and I used to try to feel the pulse of the people. So when I used to go, then they used to say, this madam is coming from Bombay, she is going to build schools. So the whole village used to gather. And they
Yeah.
used to ask me, when do we start? When will you start for school? We need children, see what is happening to our children. And they also told me, that their children previously, that means maybe many years back,
Hmm.
these children, when they used to go to play, the Naxals used to just kidnap them and take them, especially the teenagers or children 10, 11 years. And they used to be trained as Naxals.
Oh no.
But these children who had not gone by their will, who were forced to, join the Naxals, so they used to later regret. because they've seen so many die in encounters, no life, cut off from the rest of the world, and no taught only crime, and under these other Naxals. So they had softened down, but they were not allowed to come and mix with the village. So when they saw that there is something good going on in the village, there's some improvement, they softened down. But still, we were told to leave that area before dusk.
Your safety is all that matters in the end.
Because one of the places called Jada, it is the Orissa, it is a place in Orissa where the neighboring states are Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Andhra, Bengal, all Naxalite borders.
Right. Correct.
It was a risk, but as you say, I don't do the work. I take Krishna with me. I just tell him I'm assigned this work. I don't know how to do it. You do it. You come with me. And you won't believe he does it.
Have faith.
Yeah, faith.
Yeah.
Faith can move mountains.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Uh, this so the next question is that
Yeah.
what is your ultimate goal of helping people in this field? So like there are different goals. So everyone there are many social workers, and what is your goal specifically? Is it related to education, or giving financial stability to the person who needs it? Or is it related to family? So like many people don't have a family, right? So like
Hmm.
what is the end goal of social work? What is the end goal? If I could
There
phrase
is nothing like, you can say a goal, but there is nothing like an end goal because this need for social work and need for help is endless.
oh
It all depends on the people you come in contact, the need of the people, like
yeah,
who deserves what. Some may really need, financial assistance, like for medical. Some might not be able to pay their child's fees,
correct.
and it depends on what who comes to you and who is genuine. You have to
Correct.
sort out
Genuine is the
genuine
word.
need. Yeah. Otherwise, your money has gone down the drain. All that you can say is, I have done so much of social work for your records.
Correct. But it not
I'll give you
really.
another example. This COVID period,
Correct. Oh
our
yeah.
corporator came to me and she said, please donate something. So I told her I actually don't feel like donating a single paisa to this. So she said, no, no, you. I said, okay, since you have come, I'm giving you a small amount.
Hmm.
You go and work for about 6 days. If you prove me wrong, you come back, I'll give you more. But if you prove me right, please call me up and tell me that I'm right. What she was doing is on behalf of her party and all that, she was getting a lot of food cooked and distributing it.
Yeah, correct.
See, during COVID, everybody becomes a needy person.
Correct.
I don't have some material in my house.
Hmm.
Suppose my child is sick, where they got a lot of cold. I don't have Vicks. I'm a needy person at that time.
Correct.
Somebody can go and take my money and buy some Vicks come for me, for my child. And these people, she found that all the people who came to collect the food were either the beggars under the bridge,
Correct.
or the people, who are charsis, who are drug addicts, who are alcoholics, who come and take food and go. She
Hmm.
was telling me that the fourth or fifth day when she went, they are asking her, क्या लाया खाने के लिए? She said, पुलाव दाल, वही वही क्या लेके आता है? पूरी भाजी लेके आओ. And they threw the food in front of her. She
Oh,
called me up. She said, I said, yes, this is why I have not donated. I'll give you another example. There is one Bangle fellow here, having a small shop. He comes all the way from Dombivli.
correct.
No trains, no buses.
Oh.
He has to pay rent. Ultimately, he had to give away his shop, no business. A very small fellow.
Hmm.
He used to sell glass bangles, where everybody sells for 70, 80 per dozen. He used to sell it for 35. And he had that sentiments, a total human touch. He used to say, nahi, ye suhagane pehenti hai na, so I don't charge more. I saw him once there. I asked him, what are you doing? He's telling, kuch nahi aate jate nahi sakte. So he used to buy some snacks from somewhere, sell it here, buy something from here and sell it there.
Okay.
I feel we should help such persons who want to stand up on their own leg, who cannot come out in the open and beg, but they have no food to eat.
Genuine person.
You have to know the genuinity. You have to know the real needy person. You have to know that your money will not be, just wasted. It is not going down the drain. It is going to help someone in life. I told you about that first marriage in Children Aid Society here.
Yeah.
Both were orphans.
Correct.
See, we got the orphans married. They got a family, right?
Yeah, they made a family.
Your question was what you do if people don't have a family.
Correct. Oh yeah, yeah.
Once this was an opportunity which came. They
Oh,
have about 3 children now. There's a happy family.
yeah, that's
Some
right.
orphans get married, they get a family.
Correct. all based
So
on
whatever is
circumstances.
the need of the hour, yeah, you have to see the genuine, you have to have an EQ, use your IQ.
Correct.
What I do is, initially even I used to do that, get very emotional and, impulsively I used to donate, used to act. Then I found that I've been fooled sometimes. Then I
Agreed.
used to feel, no, from next time I will not do any charity. The end of charity. Then I used to remember my father's mathematics when he used to teach me.
Mm-hmm.
He used to teach us, a raised to 0 is equal to 1, a raised to 1 is equal to a square is a into 2. So he used
Yeah,
to tell us,
yeah, correct.
a raised to 0 is 1, right?
Yeah.
So when you simply do some good work and you come away without thinking, that is it. That is 1. A
Oh,
raised to 1 is a. When you do your good work and you're happy about it, that is it. A square, A into A. He used to say, when you do your good work is A. And the other person, doesn't acknowledge your good work. Diya to kya hua? That is A square. Chitra used to tell us Chitragupta is your guru. He says Chitragupta will put A into A. So in your account, it will be A square. A cube used to say, when you give it to the person, he doesn't acknowledge it is A square. But when he gives you, back answers you, or he just doesn't, what you say, he puts you down. That
correct.
is AQ. So never give up the good job. Your account is going to be A raised to 3, A raised to 4. It will be accumulated there. So don't worry about what happens. Don't worry about the end result.
Correct. You're
And this
right.
is what Gita also told you. Krishna also told you. Don't bother about the end result. Do good.
Too good. To the genuine person.
Yeah, and I feel, when your intentions are good and when you really have that in your heart, opportunities come your door. You don't have to go out and saying, I will do good work here, I'll do good work there.
Correct. That's
Not doing a bad work is also a good work only.
true.
No?
Doesn't that mean not doing anything that like
No, not doing a bad thing, not troubling anyone, not making somebody cry one full day. That's also good work you've done for that day.
correct.
Social work.
One can see it that way too. Yeah. That
Yeah.
that brings to my next question. How is the scene of social work in India? How is like you are one person, right, who's doing
Hmm.
the work. So there are many people who are willing to do the same work as you. They also have the same similar philosophy as you. So
Yeah.
do you know how the scene of social work is in India? The percentage, maybe how many people? An estimate would be fine. How many people are willing like that? If you know,
So I would feel at least 60% of India does social work. Because
60.
see, taking care of your workers, taking care of your servants, paying your children's fees, looking after them, that itself is a big social work.
Correct.
Getting one child educated,
Oh,
you're supporting one full family.
correct.
And many of them do that. Many of the families do that, I've seen.
Okay. So
So they cannot come in the open. That may not go down your statistics, but social work is being done. Na?
yeah, so many. That is the baseline of social work. You should
Yeah,
not showcase it to the world. You should just
right.
inspire people to do it
Yeah,
in the end. Okay.
true.
Um, Next question. What are your thoughts of on social work being taught in colleges as a part of a curriculum? So you told me about social work being in schools and colleges being taught, and there are many instances where college students come and they try to gain credits to go to for
Mm.
university. So what do you think about social work being a part of their curriculum and having a weightage in their marks or report cards or credits?
I actually have failed to understand this concept because a lot of engineering students come to me and say, "Ki, Auntie, this is our project work. We have a lot of work to do, and we
Correct.
do not know, we are not guided to which institutions to go, to what work to be done." And when some stranger students come to the institution just shoo them away because they don't want strangers to enter. And that also all teenagers, or just students. So
Oh,
they say, we do not know. So then I have to ask the institution and
mhm.
introduce these children to the institution and tell them, go and do what you want. I find out what is the demand. What do they want? They want you to teach some subjects
Correct.
and what you want. So I have to connect them. And actually, they are supposed to work for 3 months, which is really not practical because they have to do a lot of their engineering and other things.
Correct. That's true.
So ultimately, it ends up, like somebody in this institution, please give a certificate that they have come and worked here for 3 months. Honestly, this is happening, I'm telling you, which is not correct.
It's not correct.
Yeah,
Mm. So you think that it's not practical, right? So in the
yeah.
end, people should start from this, like when they enroll in school, they should be taught or they should be told that these
Hmm.
are the things that you need to do out of the good of your heart, you should not expect anything in return, right? Like
No,
that.
I would also feel as a field work, field trip and all what the schools call nowadays. They
Ah,
should take the children to orphanages and make them
correct,
interact with them. Show
correct,
them this is also part of the world.
correct,
They are children of your own country.
correct,
You share your joy with them.
correct.
Come
That's
and do something for them. And I'm sure the children will have that soft
tough spot. They will
corner for
understand.
them.
Yeah, as you said, field work really, the experience part that you explained before,
Yeah,
the students will understand after they're on the field, and they'll understand how there are many things that you don't have, they have, and there are so many things that they're lacking. So
yeah.
understood. I understood that. Now this is like in conclusion. Okay.
Hmm.
So I would like to ask you two questions. Okay, two questions.
Yeah.
The first one being, for the students who are looking to go into this field of social
Hmm.
work, how prepared should they be in terms of mental state, physical state, or motivation? So how should they be being motivated and be like, yes, I today I woke up, I will go and do the work that I am assigned to. So like when students or youth, actually not students, youth, and they want to enter, how should they be? How should
You
that
mean
be?
the students who want to take up social work as a
Yeah, yeah.
career?
Career, yeah, career.
Yeah, then first of all, I would say they should have a passion for that. If you don't have a passion and you say, I just want a degree so that I'll get a job and then I'll enter into some institutions, it'll be a government job, then I will get my pension. There are people who think of that also.
Correct. Okay.
One of my servant's daughters, she said, I'm doing my MSW, BSW. So I said, what makes you do that? She's telling there's a lot of future in it. See, this is one example. Second thing is, they want to do social work. Say now opportunities came, so my social work went on, in continuation.
Correct.
Opportunities would have stopped, probably I would not have done also.
Correct.
Right. But everyone doesn't get this, na? God has given me different fields to work. So
Yeah.
when I took up a project that was nearly over, something else came. But it doesn't happen. So some people, some children think that they should go enter the professional line. So,
Oh,
but they should have a lot of empathy, soft corner. And stress, of course, I don't think it's all that stressful unless, you are put in something like counseling the jailers, I mean, the prisoners
okay.
and all that. Or
Okay.
you are put in rehabilitation of the girls who have been rescued from the red light areas. There also we have social workers.
Right. Right.
Could be
Correct.
taxing. Yeah, that could be because they get threats from the, those pimps and all. If you go
Correct.
and release our girl, otherwise tumko marega bahar. These type things also happen. So social worker as a profession is not
Easy.
very enjoyable one. There is stress in it.
Correct. Those
That is
stress.
why I say if you have the passion to do that.
Mhm.
And if you have a good EQ and IQ, yes, you are the right person.
Right. That's true. So in the end, really, what really matters is you need to have the passion to go into that field. You need to be able to wake up every day and be like, yes, I'm so happy. You should be able
Yeah.
to understand the people's difficulties that they're going to, right? In the end, like what you
And they have to do their work with sincerity. Not
sincerity. Yeah.
because, if I
Everyone
don't do this, I may not get paid, I may be suspended. That should not be their
they should not
intention.
expect things, right?
Yeah.
So how should one person like such as you now you also have done so this interview also you helps us inspires a lot of people and lot of youth we youth wingers to
Hmm.
do the social work. So how do you suggest that everyone else impart their knowledge of social work if social work is not should not be portrayed outside the world like that?
I didn't get you. Can you
So,
just repeat?
yeah, I'll rephrase the sentence. What I'm trying to say is now there's, you just said like social work, you should not portray, you should not show it to the world that I'm doing this and I'm doing
Hmm.
that, right? So, how in order, but more people should be inspired to do this, right?
Yeah. I'll give you a small example. So when I used to go to this Ernest Boji's home,
Yeah, yeah.
so I just posted it on FB
Hmm.
that, I'm sharing this with the cancer patients
Correct,
at Ernest Boji's home, Kala Nagar, Mumbai, Bandra East.
correct.
So I got some comments appreciating it, and some comments asking where is this institution? What is the phone number? Can we go? How do we go? Next time when you go, you take me. And then I also got comments like, whatever charity you should doing, you shouldn't be posting it. The left hand should not know what the right hand is doing.
That
So
part.
you tell me, it's a mixed mixed thing. So I told them, if you see my comment on the top, my writings, I've written there, given the address, the name of the institution, so that many people are introduced to the institution. There are a lot many needy people who really require ration. There are people who drink water and sleep at night because they have no food to cook.
Correct.
When my FB post, bring many more donors. It happens. This is how you should, yeah, you should be talking to people about the institute, not about your work, about the institution. Like if I don't need to say that, oh, मैंने जाके cancer patients को खाना दिया. I should tell them that there's an institution where food is required. There are many people. I have gone. You also go.
That is how you inspire people to do.
Yeah, inspire people and yeah, right. So I'm
in-
clear on your.
Yeah. That is what I wanted to hear. Yeah, correct. I understood that. Now, in conclusion, what is your message to the youth? Like we are youth wingers, right? What is your message in general? What is the lesson that you want us to learn about?
Okay, if it is to youth of the Gokul wing, I
Youth,
mean youth wing
like
of
that.
Gokul, then I would say your previous youth wing has done a lot of jobs. I still remember my father-in-law underwent a prostate surgery and he was in need of blood. The whole youth wing of Gokul came and they donated blood. At least 6, 7 of them have donated.
Wow,
This is an inspiration for this youth wing to take from your seniors.
that's true. Yeah, for
And
both.
in general, yeah, if, like if you want a message for the youth, use your EQ. Don't go in search of social work unless you are a professional. But when somebody needy comes, use your EQ first. When your heart says do, give 1 minute to your brain. Use your wisdom. Then your IQ will analyze whether it is genuine, whether they are needy, whether your money will reach them, and then go ahead and do. But don't stop doing good work, even if you're disappointed in life, somebody pulls you down, somebody disappoints you. No. Remember, A square, A4, it goes
Correct.
on and
I
on.
never thought about it in that way. That was something really new to me. So
Hmm.
yeah,
See, this
I
is how it should be taught, right from childhood.
correct. Yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
remember recent things, but I remember this.
Correct.
So
Oh
whenever
yeah.
my
Now
see,
I'll
it
remember.
tells me whenever I get disappointed or some, the donis let me down, then I remember this that you have to continue. It becomes A square, it will become A cube, it becomes A4.
I'll apply this everywhere now. Now
Yeah, true,
even I'll
true.
also remember this everywhere. Now I'll
See,
hand it.
whatever good work you're doing, it's up towards a human.
Correct.
God expects this from us. God doesn't ask us when we go up, ki kya leke aaya. He says, what did you do? I sent you to the world. I gave you good physique. I gave you 2 nice hands, legs, eyes, and all. Good brain. What did you do except for yourself? We are answerable to Him. And
That's
this is a service to our country also, no?
correct. Development.
When all the downtrodden are uplifted, we have a healthy country. We have a strong country.
That's true. Definitely.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, ma'am. I'll. It was a wonderful session, and I learned a lot. Happy Teachers' Day to you.
Yeah,
I'll,
happy Teachers' Day to all my donees, who have taught me in some way or the other.
I'll hand it over to Priyanjali now. To
Yeah, right.
thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks.
you so much, Auntie and Hamsa, for this beautiful session. Auntie, you broadened our thinking horizon today. You literally opened the box. You gave us so many instances where we can be an asset to the society with our actions and not just monetarily. And as I mentioned in the beginning, your humility is the first thing that inspired me, Auntie. And that I was just reading the comments also on YouTube, and so many people are saying today that they are inspired by you, by your work. They're so proud of you, and we also are so proud of you to have also got the opportunity to interview you. Also, what touched me was the first thing that you said today, that more than the position, what is important is to be a good human being. Auntie, your father and father in law might have instilled the quality of social work in you. But today, personally, for me, your experiences, your stories have motivated me. And you very well explained the bond of EQ and IQ and how one person can bring about a change in 10 and 10 can bring about a change in 100. And you so beautifully highlighted the importance of people coming together and unity as a whole. So, personally speaking, I mean, I can go on. There are so many things I learned in this session today, and you are so bold, so strong that I truly look up to you. Hats off to you, Auntie. You're a true
I don't know.
inspiration. Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot
Thank
for hosting
you.
and nice questions. I really admired the questions.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it.
And I really hope, if I'm a source of real inspiration,
Um, I think Arunati's videos hung. So, to as a Auntie, I think your video was hung. If you were saying something, we missed it.
Yeah,
okay. No, I said if I'm a real source of inspiration, and people should take me little seriously and uplift all the downtrodden, wherever they can. And I want to see my country as a very prosperous country with hardly any poverty, lot of educated people, no beggars on the streets. That is my ultimate vision and my goal. At least I hope to see it before I leave this world.
Auntie, I hope we can all
Yeah,
contribute.
the youthing of Gokul and all the youth of India will really do something good. But
I hope
remember,
we can all
with
contribute.
IQ, balance your EQ with IQ.
Right, yes. So thank you, Auntie, for giving us your precious time and for inspiring us with your journey. Thank you
Yeah,
again
lovely
for
to
being
have
on this
nice,
Sambhashana.
beautiful girls, as hosts.
thank you.
Thank you, Auntie. So thank you, Hamsa, for conducting the interview with such ease, fluidity, and you kept us engaged throughout. I would like to thank our president, Dr. S.S. Rao, the BSKBA Managing Committee for supporting and encouraging Sambhashana series. I'd like to thank Srikara Udupa for the video editing, Guru Prasad Bhatt for the coordination and IT help. Thank you, Viju Aunty, Supriya Udupa, Tanvi Rao, and Sri Lakshmi Udupa for all your support. This event is not complete without our viewers. Thank you for encouraging BSKBA Youthwing. Subscribe to our YouTube and Instagram channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for joining us today. See you next Sunday. Namaskara.
Namaskar to all of you.